Hello, I'm so delighted that you're listening to me today. My name is Angela Karanja, popularly known around the world as Top Teacher Angela, because of catapulting children to success by helping them develop from the inside out. Oh yes, develop the faculties of their mind so that they can become successful international citizens. It's my hope that you, as a PSHE educator, your goal, like that of every parent, like that of every educator, teacher, and indeed the nation, is that every of our children will grow up to become healthy, happy, and successful adults. In recent years, there has been a great emphasis on physical, social, health, and education, and economic education, and indeed personal development. From early years, more and more parents and educators realize that personal development does not start at the end of formal education, but it is an intricate part of life all the way from early years. And so it should be. The world is waking up to the realization that to be truly successful, we must go holistic. Yes, we must address the physical, the mental, the intellectual, and the social facets of a child's life. Each part of the child's life must be addressed and developed if a child is to end up living a successful, healthy, and happy life, both in their childhood and also as an adult. You know as well as I do that education is not just about literacy and numeracy, and it is not just about memorizing and answering questions right. This is not to say that books have not their place, not at all. But the most important part of education is when a child learns and discovers themselves. For if a child, indeed, if a person masters themselves, they have mastered life. Napoleon Hill said that an educated person, yes, an educated person is one who has so developed the faculties of their mind that they may acquire anything they want or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. This is powerful. This is beautiful. Imagine a child, a child under your care, being able to acquire anything they desire, anything they deserve, that is health, wealth, and happiness without violating the rights of others. It is beautiful, it is powerful, and this is what personal development will do for children. I have no doubt that you, as a PSHE leader, and those of us who are parents and educators, are aware of the demands of life. Life is filled with constant challenges and changes, and our job is to prepare our children to not only survive, but to thrive. Yes, our job is to prepare our children to not only survive, but to thrive. In life, only an educated child, yes, the kind of child who has gained a higher awareness of self, yes, this child who has so developed the faculties of their mind, that is a child who will thrive. At Top Kid Edutainment, our dream is that every child will live in a world where success will be more commonplace than failure. That's why we are passionate about personal education, personal development education, and empowerment, because we know that what we do today will undoubtedly influence our children and determine their future. According to the CBI, in addition to literacy and numeracy, parents and employers want young people who are healthy, people and children who are able to form good relationships, willing to take responsibility, those who are capable of working in teams, and those who are capable of respecting others, those who are able to manage risks, those who are able to solve problems and be resilient. Thank goodness for the personal development education and the PSHE programs that our children will thrive and succeed in life. Now, as a children's inspirational author, empowerment speaker, educator, and entertainer, I help children articulate their inner work so that they can manifest it to the outside. Listen, for a child to thrive and achieve great results in any area of their life, they need to understand their own power. They need to do their inner work. They need to be empowered and mentored so that they can adopt a shift in attitude and a shift towards self-awareness, self-confidence, and success. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how your job as a leader, a parent, or an educator is one of the most crucial jobs in helping children develop their minds and adopt a success attitude and mindset. I will also briefly share with you my story about how I transitioned myself from extreme poverty and excruciating abuse. Not only did I become a top kid, but I have gone on to become a successful international citizen, and how I'm going to show you how any child, no matter what their background, is capable of becoming a success given the right strategies, motivation, and empowerment. I'm also going to show you a surefire way and what you can do to position our children for success and empower them for success so that they can adopt a lifelong success mindset. Do we think personal development education is important? Do you think the nation thinks personal development education is important? Let's hear what one of the schools said, that is Swine School Park. As a result of our PSHE education lessons, pupils are becoming more confident, more successful. They are able to deal with new situations. They have the skills to manage situations that might prevent them from learning. They can assess risks. They are better at self-motivating. They can express themselves better. They are just more confident. That is what the source from Swine Park School said. Another one is science and psychology have isolated the one prime cause for success or failure in life. It is the hidden self-image your child has of themselves. This is a quote from Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor is one of the greatest success and mind teachers in the world today. And I am fortunate to have him as my mentor. So I do hope you're still not doubting that personal development is the one thing that transcends and catapults children to greatness. As educators and teachers, we hold a most important role and position to help our children adopt a healthy self-image, a self-image that will drive them to success in any area of their life. Yes, physical health and wellness, academic success, and even extracurriculum. Any child can be successful given the right strategies, empowerment, and motivation. They can move any mountain. You may know children who have grown up and have had to battle very difficult circumstances. But because they held a healthy self-image of themselves, they have been able to burst through circumstances against all odds. There is a long list of such children. Take top tennis champion Serena Williams. She's said to have come from the wrong neighborhood. She's said to have chosen the wrong sport. But the girl held a champion image of herself. You know what is happening. She is now conquering the world. So what is the secret here? Self-awareness. The image she held of herself. This is what you have. Yes, we have the opportunity. You and I have the opportunity to instill a healthy self-image in any child under our care. This is what we specialize in at Top Kid Edutainment. If you have come across my work in any way or form, you know my story, how I was born in extreme poverty in a village in Africa. Yes, I grew up in extreme poverty and excruciating abuse. But at the age of 5, I was introduced to the idea of self-image. I was introduced to the idea of the power of a dream, and I was introduced to the principles of success. And at that young age, I made a decision that would alter my destiny forever. I began to see myself as a top kid. And before long, I started becoming a top kid in my class. My inner world started to change. And because my inner world was changing, my outer world started to change. The success I envisioned in my head, I started holding it in my hand. The proverb, as a man thinketh, so is he, is forever true. The image we hold of ourselves, that do we become. I am now a living example of the picture that I glorified in my mind, that of success, health, and happiness, right? If you take a moment to think of my background, extreme poverty, sometimes going without food and clothing. And on top of that, being subjected to physical, psychological, and emotional abuse. If we were to go with conventional thinking, I would probably be dead or absolutely poor and poorly. But my mind defied the odds. And this is why I am convinced by the use of their mind, children can become successful. Yes, given the right strategies, motivation, and empowerment, any child can use their mind and defy any physical circumstances. My case is not special. Over the last 13 years, I have researched stories of champions, stories of children who dreamed and used their mind to acquire exactly what they wanted, right? They held the image of who they wanted to become. And with proper mentoring, against all odds, those children have attained exactly what their mind conceived. See, I have worked in several children's settings, including classrooms, community centers, secure training centers, and even religious settings. And I have come to one conclusion, that the child who will truly thrive and conquer the world is the child who will understand the power of their mind, the child who will align themselves with the principles of success, and with proper mentoring. With proper mentoring, that is the child that will thrive and conquer the world. In a recent report by Dr. John Lloyd, he mentioned a research by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. This research indicated that young people are more likely to do well at GCSEs if they have a greater belief in their own ability at school. They believe that events result primarily from their own behavior and actions. Children are more likely to do well if they avoid risky behaviors and use of drugs, antisocial behavior, truancy, suspension, and exclusion. Children are more likely to do well if they do not experience bullying. Our programs at Top Kid Edutainment help children discover their own ability. They help children have self-respect and self-awareness, and therefore are unlikely to engage in risky behavior, and respect themselves and respect others, so that the question of bullying or being bullied is eliminated altogether. You see, all the problems that our children are experiencing today are just effects. Our job as educators and teachers and leaders in their lives is to introduce the right cause. If we can introduce the right cause, then we can be sure to have the right effects. This is the irrevocable law of the universe. If we introduce the right seed, the right cause, the right thoughts, the right attitude, then the harvest, the results, the effects must be of the same nature. They are going to be the right results. Now here are the 4 irrefutable principles of success that we teach in all our programs, right? We teach the power of personal awareness, right? This includes understanding self and understanding the mind, self-respect, self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-responsibility. The next P is the power of gratitude and thanksgiving. We teach children to appreciate the help and the efforts of others. When children appreciate what they have, they send out positive vibrations, and in turn, they receive more help and more opportunities. Gratitude connects us to the universal source. Now, the next P is the power of powerful relations. We teach children how to form positive, safe, and respectful relations and to avoid the detrimental ones. There is power in associating with people that help you succeed. And then we have the 4th P is the power of persistence. Every great champion undergoes hardship one way or another. The difference between those people that succeed and those that fail is persistence. Those who will keep on regardless of what's happening. We teach children to develop the spirit of never give up. Persistence is an attitude that can be taught and learned. Now, in the same report by Dr. John Lloyd, when he stated that when asked in the Headspace survey, how important is PSHE education, 98% of primary and secondary heads said that PSHE was important in their schools. Now, we don't need convincing that personal development from an early age is important. Now, I want you to imagine that every child in the country was aware of the 4 irrefutable principles of success and prosperity, and they adopted that as their way of life from an early age. Do you think that we would eliminate most of the problems that our children are facing today? Imagine if our children, right, all had a healthy self-image and were confident to face life and its challenges. Imagine our children understanding from an early age that they truly are the makers of their own destiny. Imagine having children who are grateful, respectful, and filled with gratitude. Oh yes, imagine our children being able to choose and form healthy and safe relations and avoid relationships that drain and beat them up. Imagine our children developing an attitude of persistence, resilience, and gratitude and going for their goals no matter what. This is possible. And we have the opportunity to make it possible for our children. We are talking about a successful generation, and this is possible. These principles are irrefutable, and they can be taught to children, right? And because they are irrefutable, they can work for any child, regardless of their background. The question is, when do we do this? The question is to us, educators, parents, and leaders, are we willing? Yes, our question is, are we willing to try that which we have not tried before in order to get the results that we have never had before? Now, allow me to digress a bit. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and she is in year 1. Now, apart from being a top kid in her class, both academically and even socially, she sees herself as a gold medalist, and she is training to be a gold medalist. She excels in both gymnastics and athletics, both her own choice sports. I had nothing to do with it. The other day, during our leukemia Banana Man race, she was the fastest, youngest contestant in the race. She shocked and amused people, both with her speed and attitude. Now, before setting off for the race, she said to me, "Mom, watch, I will be the best. And I really wonder which child is going to be number 2. Listen to that attitude. Listen to the words of a 5-year-old. And true to her word, she was the fastest, youngest contestant. As we get to know each other, you will hear more of these stories and how children are excelling against all odds. Now, you may be thinking, Angela, that is just because maybe your child is gifted in athletics, or maybe because she's your child and she's talented in those sports. My child is not talented in anything. Let me remind you that every child has an ability. Every child has a talent waiting to be brought up, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be propelled forward. It could be in sports, in arts, in music, in academic, in invention. It could be anything. But every child is capable of bringing forth something that none of us even know about. Now, can I tell you something? That my daughter is battling a hernia on her groin, right? Listen to this. She was one of the fastest children in that race, right? She is training and believing she's a gold medalist. But I can tell you, as we speak, my daughter is battling a hernia on her groin. And this is just one of her life challenges. Just one. She's got many more life challenges she's facing. Listen, James Allen said, "Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they will no longer remain so if you hold on to the ideal and strive to reach it. You cannot travel within and stand still without." This is what we teach children, that do not focus on circumstances, but look at an ideal and strive to reach it. Because what happens is, as they strive to reach that goal, all the circumstances lose their power. We continue to receive a lot of information and a lot of praises from parents telling us how their children have shifted their attitudes. This is why I am passionate. Because I believe if we can train children to travel within, in their thoughts, in their image they hold of themselves, and to align themselves with the principles of success, right? If we can teach them that, they can achieve that which they really want. And if we will do this, then we can rest assured that our children will be successful, and we will not wait and see. No, we will not wait and see. We will not be some of those educators that let children go through life and then we talk about waiting and see how they turn up or how they turn out. No, we will wait knowing that the thoughts, the attitudes that they have held will be what they will hold in their hand. That is what they will become. You may be thinking as well that, these are tough principles for children to learn at such a young age. I'm going to remind you something that you have heard many times. Children are genius. They truly are. How do you suppose they learn the language they speak without someone actively teaching them? How do you suppose they take on an accent without someone teaching them? How do you suppose they learn how to chew and digest the food without someone actively teaching them? Children, especially in early years, are just waiting to learn. Their subconscious mind is open to learning. You have heard people use the expression, children are sponges. Oh yes, and they are. They take in everything and they become that. This is our opportunity to seize the moment when they are young, because what we feed them, if we feed them with positive attitudes, positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive principles and actions at this formative age, that is what they will become. As we come to the end of this presentation, let me say that we know that it is possible to teach children these principles, and indeed it is our duty to teach them. They must know who they are and the power they have within them to become whatever they choose. At Top Kid Edutainment, we put education and entertainment together. You know that children learn best when they are having fun, and that's why our programs are called edutainment programs. It is education, entertainment, and empowerment. Children learn best from mentors who use stories, right? It is my hope that you will take this opportunity to teach the kids in your care the principles of success. And what I can ask of you is remember to be enthusiastic, empowering, and entertaining. Or you might decide to choose our programs and have a mentor like me instill these principles in the children that are under your care, because I'm capable of doing it in an enthusiastic, empowering, edifying, and entertaining way. Right, apart from using my own personal stories when I'm teaching children, I use scores of other stories of powerful real-life success people, both young and old. People who have defied the odds, right? People who have taken their lives and directed them to exactly what they wanted. It is possible for any child to become a champion in anything they choose. But we must tell them this. We must bring it to their awareness that they are capable of doing this. If you speak to any successful person in business, athletics, arts, academic, anything, they have had mentors who constantly remind them of their ability to be more, to be better. And that is what children need. And that is why I would recommend that you choose to work with Top Kid Edutainment today. Our programs comes in all formats, right? Because obviously we understand that children learn in different ways and at different rates, and they come in visual and audio, and they are easily available and accessible at all time, because we want children to be able to see them over and over again, to listen to them over and over again, because repetition, you and I know that repetition is the first law of learning. Repetition is the first law of learning. And for any child to have unquestionable faith about their ability to succeed, they must have faith in themselves. And we know that faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing until what they hear is ingrained in every fiber of their body. So now we have established that personal development is no doubt very, very important. According to the PSHE, education contributes to personal development by helping children and young people to build their personal identities, confidence, and self-esteem, make career choices, and understand what influences their decisions, including financial ones. It enables them to recognize, accept, and shape their identities, to understand and accommodate difference and change, to manage emotions, and to communicate constructively in a variety of settings. Developing an understanding of themselves, empathy, and the ability to work with others will help them to form and maintain good relationships and better enjoy and manage their lives. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful to know that PSHE and personal development is the way forward for our children if they are going to live happy, healthy, and successful lives? Now, I want you to consider our program titled Safari to Success. I want you to consider this program as one of your PSHE programs. Now, before I go, I want to ask you something. What is the cost to a parent? What is the cost to you? What is the cost to the community? And what is the cost to the government to have a child go through education, go through mainstream education, but wind up living an unhappy, an unhealthy, and an unsuccessful life? How does that reflect on us who are decision makers? How does that reflect on us? When you truly think about adding value to kids' life, do you think that sometimes we, the decision makers, or the society has failed its children? In the past, yes, we may have failed the children. But today, we have the information and the knowledge that if we train our children to adopt a success mindset from an early age, we can expect success and successful lives from our children, right? We can expect them to lead successful lives. No one wishes for their child to go through mainstream education only to end up as a failure and a struggler. No one wishes that. Now here we are. We know all the benefits of introducing a success mindset from an early age. You have no doubt that introducing these principles of success from an early age will help our children, right? Will help our children, will influence our children and catapult them to success. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? As the quote goes, our biggest regrets are not for the things we do, but the things we failed today. Our biggest regrets are not for the things we do, but the things we have failed to do. Today, I'm offering you the opportunity to deliver this program, Safari to Success, to your pupils for just £99 a month. Let's do the maths. Supposing that over 100 pupils in your school will have access to this program. How much is that per child compared to the information we are transferring to them? That is less than £1 a month per child to receive the information, to receive this mind-boggling, mind-changing, mind-conditioning information. As I said before, this program, Safari to Success, contains the principles that literally transitioned my life from extreme poverty and abuse to become a successful international citizen. Imagine what the program can do for kids who have been discouraged at home and in the playground. Kids who have up to now only focused on the unfortunate circumstances. Kids who up to now don't know their talents and abilities and have not discovered their own power. This program will only be acceptable to forward thinkers like you. Thinkers who are ready to try something that goes beyond conventional thinking. The principles that breed gold medalists, academics, inventors, safe and sound relationships, holistic and successful people. Imagine as a teacher, teaching kids who have a positive attitude. Isn't it more bearable a job when you're teaching children who really want to learn? Which is what this program is going to do to kids in the classroom. They will have a positive attitude. They will want to learn. They will want to receive information that is going to change their life. You are in a position today where your decision can mean the birth of a successful generation or the continuation of the things as they have always been. You are a leader, and this is the right moment for the right leaders to seize the opportunity to position children for success. John Van Gogh said, "The right leader is the one who seizes the moment." Do you know what? I recognize myself as the right leader. I do, however, understand that I cannot do all the work by myself. Therefore, I need you as a right leader to partner with me so we can make magic happen to these kids. I want you to click this button now. Make the decision to click this button now and request for this program for the kids in your classroom. Go on, click the button now and let's meet on the success side. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because I believe that you will make the right decision for our kids. Thank you for partnering with me. Thank you.